Hello and welcome back to the channel and to another episode of The Future Of, where today we're taking a look at the Buffalo Sabres and see what the future might bring for them. Now, as we all know, the Buffalo Sabres have been struggling a lot. They haven't made the playoffs for 8 seasons now, and they were close last season. They had a stretch of 10 games, a 10-game winning streak where they looked very good, but after that they just fell off. But thanks to having these poor seasons, they've been able to draft very high in the draft, and they've been able to assemble a very good core, which we're going to take a look at right now. And I have to start off with Jack Eichel, their first line center, their franchise player, the face of the franchise, and the heart of the team. This guy is just amazing. I love watching him. He makes everything look so simple. He's effortless. He's so smooth, and he's just incredible. He just came off his best season so far in the NHL, and he's showing no signs of slowing down, and I think he's gonna do better this season, and he's gonna look even better than he did last season. Behind him we have Casey Mittelstadt, who had a disappointing season, but he's still just 20 years old and he could very well have a bounce back year, playing with one of the newly acquired players like Marcus Johansson, Jimmy Vesey, or Victor Olofsson, who I'm going to talk about a little bit more later. They've also locked down their goal scorer Jeff Skinner to an 8-year deal after he had a career season scoring 40 goals. He's in his prime right now, and with this big contract he signed, he's gonna want to prove himself. And can he do it? I'd say he can. Playing with Jack Eichel and Sam Reinhart, who just came off a career season as well, he's entering his contract year, and he'll want to prove he wants a race. He's a good piece to that first line, and if he can get 65 points again, that is very good, and I think he will. On the defensive side, they have their franchise defenseman for the coming 15 years with Rasmus Dahlin. He had an amazing rookie season, got nominated for the Calder Trophy, and it was really good to see his development. He took some time to get comfortable in the league, but once he did, he never looked back. He's such a smooth skater, he's so mature on the puck, and of course he's gonna make mistakes from time to time, but I think for a 19-year-old defenseman in the NHL, it's just part of the process of developing, and once he's the finished product, he is gonna be scary good. Other than Rasmus Dahlin, we have the other Rasmus Ristolainen, who just came off a stats-wise horrific season. Minus 41, I'm not a big plus-minus guy, but minus 41 is not very good. He's an alright defenseman. He'll have a point to prove this season, but I think he might be getting traded before the end of it. He was rumored to be traded during the last season, and if they can get a good return for him, maybe a left-handed defenseman, because they have an abundance of right-handed defensemen, with Brendan Montour, who they acquired during the last season, and 2 newly acquired right-handed defensemen with Colin Miller and Henry Jokiharju, who was acquired after a 1-for-1 deal with Chicago, where the Buffalo Sabres sent away Alex Nylander, and hopefully for the Sabres, Jokiharju will live up to his potential, which I believe is a top 4 defenseman. On the goaltender side, it doesn't look too good. They have Carter Hutton, who didn't have the best season, and neither did his backup Linus Ullmark, who funnily enough, his name translated from Swedish to English means Linus Wool Ground. I don't think any of them will be top stars in the NHL, but they have one goaltender prospect that is just eager to take over. It's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and I'll be talking about him later. Now let's get into the prospects, starting off with Dylan Cousins, who was picked up at 7th overall in the 2019 draft. His stats look good. His last seasons in the WHL are very impressive stats-wise, but let's take a look at his game. He's one of the best skaters in the draft class, he's got tremendous speed, and the way he can shift through gears is just amazing. His edge work, his agility is top-notch. I think his skating is the best thing with him and what stands out. Other than that, I think what stands out as well is his shot. Be it a wrister or a slap shot, he can rifle it and he will score. He needs to work on his passing a little bit if I need to critique something. It's not bad by any means, he's got the vision and the IQ to make it work, it's just the delivery that needs to be worked on a little bit. And we'll go back to the WHL for the 1920 season, but he won't play until mid-October after suffering that freak thumb injury in the Sabres development camp earlier this summer. I'd say he's got the potential to be a first-line center, however, with Jack Eichel already occupying that spot right now and will for the coming future, so when Cousin does make the NHL, I think he'll slot in at the second center position, which is only a good thing. Having a 1-2 punch is what you need to win in the NHL. Now, let's take a look at one of the highest rated goaltender prospects in the entire league. I said I was going to get to him, and here we are. We're talking about Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He's one of the highest rated goaltender prospects, and for good reason. He won Goaltender of the Year in the OHL after putting up a record of 38 wins and just 11 losses, as well as being the starter in the Finland team that won them the World Junior Championship in Vancouver. Goaltenders are always hard to project what their potential is, but what I can say about his game is that he's a very athletic goaltender. He's very calm in net, which also brings confidence to the team. With having good positioning and standing at his height at 195 centimeters or 6'4", that helps with trying to avoid screens from the opposition, making him more alert. He'll play in the AHL and might get a chance in the NHL at some point during the season. If not, he'll most likely be in the NHL by 2020-21, and if he can live up to the praise and potential he's got, he could very well be an elite starter in the league. Unfortunately, he's not ready to start the season as he underwent hip surgery in April, and he should be back by mid-October or at the start of November. Now we're going to talk about Victor Olofsson. He's one of my favorite Sabres players and one of my favorite players in general. I watched him for years in Sweden and I just love his game. His size isn't that impressive, but in today's game, size isn't everything as speed is taking over. He's got speed, but what stands out for me is his shot. It's just lethal. Despite only playing 6 games in the NHL, I'd say he's already got one of the best shots in the entire team. He put up great numbers in the AHL before getting called up, and in the season before that, in the SHL, he was also putting out great numbers, being the top goal scorer in the entire league during the 2017-18 season. His positional game is great as well. He finds himself in places where he can utilize this amazing shot. On a personal note, after watching him and Rasmus Dahlin play together in 2017, seeing them together on the power play in the NHL makes me very happy. I think Olofsson will be a top 6 forward in the NHL. He's already 24 years old, so this should be the season he's entering his prime and where he needs to prove himself. But with that shot and playing with top players, I'm pretty sure he will. And we're gonna make a bold prediction. If he gets to play top 6 minutes and on the power play, he's gonna score 25 goals. I know he's 24 and he can't really be considered a prospect anymore, but I'm very high on this guy and I know a lot of Sabres fans are as well. I even wrote about this guy on my blog in 2017, so I'll link that in the description if you want to read that. Now we're gonna take a quick look at some of the other prospects they have as well. Gustafsson from Sweden, he's a two-way center and he uses his top-class skating to his advantage. He's got a good physical side and he's got a good shot where he can finish off the chances he's created with his active stick and his good skating. He's going to play in Sweden for another season. Hopefully he can have a proper breakout season and really catch the eye of the Sabres organization, and maybe we'll see him in the AHL by next year. He's got the potential to be a good NHL player, be on the second line or the third line. Hopefully we'll see him in the NHL one day. Lawrence Pilot, he put up great numbers in the AHL, got called up to the NHL, and when I watched him play, I wasn't too impressed with him. Hopefully he can keep on developing, can get better at his puck moving and his skating, which is already really good. And if he gets more time on the power play, I think he's gonna put up more points, and with his play style, I think he's perfectly suited on the power play as he's not the biggest of guys, and if he wants to be able to play a full defensive game, he needs to get bigger, and if he does, I'm gonna say he's got the potential of becoming a top 6 defenseman in the NHL. So, what is the future of the Sabres going to be? Well, looking at the cap situation, it doesn't look too bad. The only player that I think they need to move is Kyle Okposo, and like I said earlier about Rasmus Ristolainen, he might be getting moved as well. Other than that, they look really, really good. And if Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen gets to develop into that elite goaltender he projects to be, then this team is going to be really scary. They're going to be amazing in every position. They have their center, like I said, they have their defenseman, they're going to have their goaltender. And I think and I hope that the Sabres will become a very good team. I think their fans definitely deserve it. They've been a miserable bunch, and now they can finally see some sort of glimpse of light. Having Eichel, Dahlin, Skinner, Reinhardt, I think it's a good core to start with. They have some pretty good depth pieces as well, and hopefully they can add to that in the coming seasons. I think Marcus Johansson is a brilliant addition. Jimmy Vesey, hopefully he can do better than he did in New York, and if he get maybe 40 points, that would be a good addition. And like I said, I think the fans deserve this. The city of Buffalo has been absolute agony for years over their sports teams, and finally having a team for them that could very well challenge in 4 or 5 years, I think they deserve it, and they need to get a winning mentality there, and I think this is a good step to getting that. So what do you guys think about the future of the Sabres? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.